Never mind, y'all. I'm back. Look like it wasn't you. It wasn't. We just gonna roll with it. Oh, they must have been gone. Where they left? Well, okay. Never mind. That live that I was looking for, y'all, not working out for me. So I'm back on here.
Like, I don't want to get my hair done by this one girl. I talk about her all the time, but I haven't got my hair done in the past like years. Not years, probably over. It's been over a year. It's been over.
Yo, I read out loud. Who else read out loud? Am I the only person that have to read out loud? People used to get so mad at me. They'd be like, can can you read in your head? No, because I ain't gonna be able to hear myself. This section will teach you what to look for and what type of identifications are acceptable at our company. And also, too, the reason why I used to read out loud is because growing up, I had difficulties for pronouncing words. So if I read in my head, bitch, you can't hear me fucking the word up. If you hear me say it out loud, you'll be able to help me and correct me. Okay? So don't get mad. I tell this bitch, don't get mad because I'm reading out loud, bitch. Okay? Please. Okay? So they not gonna read out loud. Okay, now you tickle me, okay? Moody. You so beautiful. Is I am.
For brazen, so I know that there's somebody out there. There's somebody. $50 per party.
No, I wonder if the live that
$40 for a wash. It's like.
I wonder if the live that I was going in.
I can't do your hair. Well. He does like glitter. That's my dude. You don't like it.
I wish that you can scroll, like, because I'm watching the lives on my laptop. I wish that you can scroll.
You don't see it as, oh, I'm providing a service for people who need it and making people feel good and look good. They see it as, I can get money like this. I can get money like this. I can get money like this. You're sick. You're fucking sick. I don't know.
That was inappropriate. Like, people shouted her down and basically silenced her voice.
It's interesting to go into these different lives and hear the different viewpoints because not every single chat, like every.
Did anybody notice when she put the sweater on, when Chelsea put the sweater on in that video?
Hearing the different viewpoints is very interesting. Not some lives are similar, and then they have some lives that have different takes, and then some that are completely opposite. So it's interesting to sit here and hear the thoughts of everybody on this particular situation that's going on it on TikTok that y'all know about. Now, if y'all see me in the chat popping off,
Yep.
You run the risk. You gotta protect yourself. And that's all I got to say on this situation, Lamar.
Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you being a neutral ground for people.
No problem.
I'm gonna drop out.
Okay. Every time this man speaks, it be pure fact. Every time.
He is a beautiful man speaking all that truth.
Every time.
This is what I be talking about.
And people don't want
Right
to
here.
hear it. They want to swear to God.
This is a beautiful man.
They were not in a relationship.
They get hypnotized by that beauty.
He doesn't owe her anything.
And all the common sense go out of these hoes. All the common sense leave them. After they see that beautiful man. Common sense.
But she was wrong because for one, her story had
That's it?
3 times. First, it was you want to just tell a story to just bring awareness to it. Then the second one was you wanted to tell your story, but please don't go attack him. The third one was you don't accept his apology publicly. You make a video basically saying his apology was shit. And then last night you took the initiative to go to Instagram and say a lot of slurs
Because our ears supposed like this.
Exactly. Speaking about L and Native Americans, when you know that's a term that they use against them, speaking on
Let me
their
tell
40
you.
years, as I've stated before. Like,
People on
y'all
this app,
want to sit up here and y'all want to act like, man, come on now.
I feel like
Y'all wanna act like-
when it comes to like this online thing, and this isn't just TikTok, this also applies to like Instagram, and even you see it on Facebook. People get to play in their imagination a little bit more. People get to play in their personality a little bit more as it pertains to social media. Social media allows you a space where you can say shit and not immediately face consequences. So people have gotten comfortable in that. People are a little bit more comfortable because it's easier for you to say stuff and pop your shit and be disrespectful when the person isn't right there in front of you, because you know that not everybody is the same. And in some cases, there are immediate consequences to your actions. And social media has provided a space where people don't have to immediately face consequences. But I encourage and I urge everyone to be mindful of what they are doing on this here internet, no matter what platform you are on, because just because you don't feel the effects of it today, right now, and immediately after you've done it, people will sue you, and one day somebody is going to run up on the wrong one. Somebody is going to play with the wrong one, and I'm here to tell you, not everybody is playing by the rules. Not everybody is playing by the book, and some people out here got goons. And people could get lost in this Netflix this Netflix type world that we live in and think that this shit ain't real life. There are some people out here that truly are not the people that you want to mess with. You have to, and some people have a strong legal team. You can lose everything. It ain't even just in the physical harm sense. It can be somebody sue you and take you for everything that you have just because you made assumptions on the internet or said something incorrectly or spoke out of turn or spoke in anger. And we have got to learn to pause, and we've got to learn to be mindful of our wording and how we word things and how we say things. And especially when it comes to accusing people of stuff, you better make sure you have some damn proof. I don't care who you are. Although we see that some people's feelings and emotions matter more than others, but you can't just accuse people of things and do stuff out of anger, trying to ruin somebody, and think that that's not gonna come back on you. It's crazy to me. Let's see what they say.
That he was open and honest with her the whole way around. There was a black woman who came out. Hold up, I'll tell you. Okay. And I didn't hear about her. I'll tell you the name and I'll send you the video. I'll send it to this phone that we're on right now. Is she accusing him of that, or is she? No, she actually sent him. I'll send it to you when we get off here. I'll send you the video. Okay, he said that they moved to the Carolina here, and they were, physically involved, and they had a whole entire conversation about what they
You a you're so right. Sometimes we need to hold ourselves accountable for our actions and think a step ahead. And especially, they have a lot of TikTok is an app where a lot of young people are today. And you can tell that a lot of them do not have elder guidance. A lot of them don't have that type of guidance that I was privileged to have in my youth, and some of us were privileged to have in our youth. And or a circle that is going to hold them accountable before they do stupid stuff or do something that they're going to regret in the long run. Because, like I say, you might not feel it today, but in the long run, just because it don't happen today don't mean it can't happen 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 5 months from now. It don't mean that you completely missed it. And not to mention, these things that we do on the internet, our children are going to see them. And it's fine and dandy, like Kim Kardashian. It was fine and dandy when you didn't have kids. Now you embarrassed. Now that your kids don't want to know who you were in the past. Now that Ray J video is embarrassing for you. You know, now it's embarrassing. Now these things are embarrassing. But it wasn't embarrassing before you had children. Our children are going to want to know who we were, what we did. My daughter is 11 right now, and she digs through my old stuff. And there are some things that I have to explain. That it was cool before I had kids, but now that I have kids, it's like, maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more. And you know what their first argument is going to be? Well, you did it when you were younger. Well, you did it. Why can't I do it? Well, you this and that. I'm not listening to you because you did it when you wanted to do it. So it may not hit you today or in the way that you think, but it comes back in the long run. Everything we do, and you can tell that it's a lot of people on this app that just don't have a firm circle that's going to call them on their stuff and say, hey, that ain't right, or maybe you shouldn't post that, or hey, take that down, that don't sound right, or some type of guidance. And a lot of people lack critical thinking as well. Like, that's just oof. I kind of see why they got the standardized test, even though it's annoying. I kind of see why. Let me see what they saying.
But that's the best way to talk about this.
I just feel like stuff like this, we're supposed to be focusing on women's history, just like with Black history. We were supposed to be focusing on that, celebrating and cycling the history. And the celebrations are being tarnished with drama. And the distraction is drama. And people centering themselves in certain moments because they want attention. It's crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the trust factor, we don't know each other on this internet. You know what I mean? Like, we don't all interact with each other in our daily lives. You should never trust anybody. That's not to say that you are mean to anybody or that you treat people wrong or stuff. You can be cordial, you can be civilized and still be cautious of people and their intentions, because I'm here to tell you, it's like I was telling somebody that I was talking to this morning, anybody is capable of anything if you put them in the right situation. Maybe they're good because they haven't been put in that situation that forces them to choose to the point where you see their character and see what they're capable of. This is why I require, before I even utter the word friend to you or to anybody, I require that you get in a tight situation for me to see if, to where you can call me out of my name, do something shady, do something crazy. I need to see who you are at When I'm at my worst and when you at yours, and when the situation is sticky and rough and tough, other than that, we ain't friends. You know, and it's not no harm in people being acquaintances and being. Sometimes you can't trust everyone, and sometimes if someone asks you a question, you should always say yes. Always, baby. You know what my grandma used to say, and I should have made it a T-shirt for her because she said all the time, if you ain't got a dollar, you ain't got a friend. If you do not have a dollar, if you can't do something for somebody, if you're not usable, if you don't have a benefit, you ain't got a friend in this world. If you can't do something for somebody else, if somebody can't use you in a way that they want, if you can't satisfy somebody in some kind of way, even in a marriage, you're required to satisfy each other in order for each other to stay there. Now, I'm just being honest. People are wild. And it's funny how when... Let me just say it like this. In my relationships, because before I was married, I was a single person and I was a dating person. Yeah, there are times where I could see where and this is maturity right here, because I had to hold myself at some point accountable. Yeah, I see spots where my exes went wrong, but I also, in those relationships, see spots where I went wrong, and I hold myself accountable for some of the things that I did to contribute as well. I don't believe that all men are shit. I don't believe in that all men are dogs. I don't believe that all men cheat. And this is not me being naive, because guess what? I hung with the boys. When you saw me at school, you saw me around a boy. And it's not because I was dating them or anything like that. I felt most comfortable with the boys. So when with that comes hearing these conversations that they're having about women, and also them confiding in me because I'm intuitive and they caught on to it, so they felt very comfortable to tell me their personal business and to discuss things with me. On top of, I hung with my dad. I hung around my uncles. My uncles were, and even some of the guys that I hung around. But then I got to have those conversations. Yep. We got to realize when we are also playing a part as well. Even when the fucked up, the messed up things happen to us, we have to recognize that's with maturity, and that's how you know. And I'm going to teach even my son this. Like, you want to be with a woman that is emotionally mature. Because I'm not going to lie to you. You bring that shit to my house, it's going to be complete hell for you and her. I used to wonder why my mother-in-law gave me such a hard time. But now that I am a mom, I'm my mom's firstborn, and my husband is his mom's firstborn. So now that I'm in the same situation where my firstborn is a girl, and I also have a boy, a baby boy at that. Both of my children, either one of them, bringing it to, I see why our parents gave us such a hard time, because not everybody is like my mama said. Not everybody is raised like you were raised. Hey y'all. Not everybody is raised like we are. And I feel like in some cases, you know, yeah, as women we go through some stuff. We go through a lot. I'm not going to discredit that. I'm not going to discount the trauma. But we also have to recognize that men are human beings as well. And they are being taught some bullshit just like we are being taught some bullshit. And the only way that this, I guess, it can get better is if we come together and have these conversations with a mature mind, because shit can't move without both parties being mature and willing to be accountable for parts that they play, because women also cater to the patriarchy. Women also keep other women down. Women also tell other women, you need to keep a man. You need to do this and this for that man. When I got married, they told me that I need to make sure that I'm always cooking for him and keeping him happy and stuff. You know, and they're just repeating what women have said over generations, because that's what their moms, their grandmothers taught them. So they are subconsciously spewing out the things that have been told to them, that they've been conditioned to believe and to think of what holds a man together, what makes a household happy, not realizing that everybody in that house was miserable, because some of the men were marrying. First of all, if you look at the history and the foundation of even marriage, it wasn't about love. It was about assets and continuing the legacy of value. It was about economic gain and the have and have nots. That's what it was about. It was not about love. You were marrying whoever the hell your parents wanted you to marry, and you had no say so. Man and woman. Y'all wasn't picking each other. You were paired up with whoever your parents said that you could marry. And it just kept trickling down even to current times. There's still some people who pick instead of picking who they want to be with, they pick who their parents don't give them a hard time about. Because, oh, she's a doctor, she's a nurse. Pick her. I'm going to give you a hard time if you pick that other girl, because she doesn't have much. She's not this, she's not that. We have to also think about, it's a lot, and there's a lot of layers to this conversation, and I want to make sure that everything come out right. I may need to reserve this for YouTube, but although this live is going to go on YouTube, but there's so much accountability and so much digging that people don't want to do, because it is just a lot. It's a lot in this conversation, and a lot of people are having a lot of viewpoints that I can see. I can definitely see, what that guy did was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. I think not being honest with your partner, whether it's a man or a woman, is wrong. But at the same time, I feel like this: if we don't file taxes together, we don't owe anybody. We don't owe each other shit. I said that even before my husband put a ring on my finger. We knew. Even though we live together, we still don't owe each other shit, because we're not married. So legally, you have no protection and I don't have any protection. Everything is up for, everything right now is still on the table. If I want to walk away right now, I could. You want to walk away right now, you could. You decide you don't want this no more and you want to go see other people easily, you could. I'm just saying. We have to use common sense, and I feel like some of these hoes out here don't have. That's why I was not the one that could hang around a lot of females. When groups of females send my anxiety into a fucking spiral. When they talk about mom groups and stuff, like, I promise, I cannot do mom groups. And it's only certain type of women that I can truly sit with and have a conversation with, and but it's because you know how they say women operate out of emotion. Not every woman operates, because they were always talking about some real shit, or anybody who's talking that real stuff. Like, I can't sit here and the whole all men are bad. I have a good man at home. I'm sorry. I'm not about to sit here online and drag me. Yeah, I'm a whole man accountable, and even when it comes to even my exes, because I don't have any reason to get on this internet and drag anybody from my past just because they may have made a mistake or been. And I had a situation similar. I was at this guy's house who was my boyfriend, and he was going out to dinner with another girl. I don't feel the need to air her out and air everything out online, because guess what? There were parts that I played as well in that. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I was just an angel and a victim, and oh my God, yeah, he did some fucked up shit. But we were young. We learned from our mistakes. We had that conversation, and he knew that I wasn't the one. I walked away from that shit, because guess what? It's just like a dude told me. There's other fish in the sea, and baby, I ain't no bad looking woman. Baby, you're lucky to grace my presence in the what? And everybody should feel like that. Everybody should feel like that. That comes from self-care and taking care of self. You know what I mean? Like, it hurt. It hurted at the moment, but when you know your worth, you're willing to let anything go and to move past, even in your, and I had, at that point, I had a miscarriage and everything. I don't talk about my pain. I don't feel the need to come on social media. I mean, I'm revealing it now through conversation because I'm trying to relate it to the story, but I'm not about to sit here and make videos about vulnerabilities that people can, like, some of y'all may care, but let's be real. Not all 80 something thousand of my followers give a fuck. Some people are on here for entertainment and for what they can get out of you. Not everybody cares in your following. Some people are looking for some things to be mad at. People are trauma bonding. Yes. There are some things, unless this person was truly saying you, but even then, there's a proper way to handle that. You take that to the authorities first. You take legal action. You get that shit solved. You're not about to violate me in a way that is traumatizing to my soul, and I don't take legal action. It's not gonna. First of all, I'm gonna want to beat your ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's gonna probably be the first. Just me being a Louisiana animal. I tried to tell them in Louisiana, what y'all see with Boosie, yes, even the women, we act like that. I'm gonna want to fight. That's gonna be my first thing. But then I'm gonna realize I have stuff to lose, so I'm gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna handle this the mature adult way, and I'm gonna take legal action. You know what I mean? Because now, after you've said too much online, just like they have to read you your Miranda rights before you just start popping off. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You've just set yourself up. You've just set yourself up. You've said too much. People have recorded you. People have recorded what you've said. People have recorded what you did. People have recorded what you have written. And you have digged yourself a hole. Yes. And there was a guy that had a live today. He said, and some of the women were mad. Some of the women were mad and some of the women agreed. He said, if we're not in a relationship and we both agree to sex, I don't owe it to you to tell you about my other partners. And to be honest with you, I mean, that's the advice I gave to one of my best friends. When they asked me that question, we were a little bit younger. You don't owe him anything. Even if he asks you, how many people have you been with before me? That's not your fucking business. You know what is your business? Whether my STD test comes back positive or negative. That's the only thing that's your business. Who I've been with before you, I'm not obligated to answer that. And if you feel like me not answering that is a how do you want to say it? Is a deal breaker for you. You're willing to, just like I have free will in that moment, you have free will to walk away as well. You can walk away. You can walk away. You have a choice in it as well. Just like I had a choice, right? People have got to, I would say this, the hardest thing, and I guess this relates to this too. I remember, and I've told this story, this same particular guy that I talked about, I was getting frustrated because I felt in my soul, and ladies, we have to recognize, I think a lot of people don't have emotional experience with themselves. In knowing themselves, they don't get to know themselves emotionally to work through when they're having these moments, knowing when they need to cut it on and off, and knowing when they need to hold themselves accountable and check that. Because I can remember I'll never forget. My mom was sitting in her room, and I usually go sit on the edge of her bed, and we'll have these little talks. I was frustrated because I felt like my life was not looking like I wanted it to look. Like, as far as, I ain't gonna lie to you, I kind of didn't want to be in no relationship. I knew this as a person I knew it. I just had to figure out how to get out of it. Like, and there are women like that. Not all of us dream of getting married one day and having them and finding a man. My goal was not to find a man. I wanted a career. I didn't have parents that preached marriage into me. I didn't even play with Barbie dolls, to be honest. And when I did, I was drawing on their faces. All of them except for like Princess Jasmine, because I liked her. But any other doll, I was like drawing on them and all kinds of stuff. I played with like cars and shit, and I used to like to go talk and sit in grown folks' business. And when people would ask, like when girls was like planning out their baby names in classrooms, like that was horrific for me. I was like, oh, I can't relate to you hoes. Like, I can't. I'm not about to sit here and manifest children. You know, we're kids ourselves. You don't even know yourself, and you're planning another life. Like, it's crazy to me. It was weird. But I went in her room. I sat on the bed, and I said, Mama, why do I keep getting these dudes? I said, why do I keep getting these same dudes? I said, I want to be able to walk into a nice restaurant, because this was when the sagging pants and all of that was hip and all of that, and some of the baggy shirts and all that. I said, I want to be able to walk into a nice restaurant with my guy that I'm with, because I'm not gonna lie, there was an incident that happened where me and the guy that I was dating, I think we were walking into a fast food restaurant, and we passed the car, didn't notice that a lady was in there, and she said, she stopped him, well, she kind of just stared out of her car. We were around the same age, and she said, can you please pull your pants up? I have a daughter in the car. And that, just for me, it was embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just be honest. At the time, it was embarrassing for me, and it made me reevaluate the mindset in the relationship that I was in, and the being on the same page. So I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I want to have a night. If I am to be with a dude, which it doesn't matter to me because I have goals of my own that I'm trying to accomplish, but if I am to be with somebody, I want to be with somebody that dresses nice, that I can go into a nice restaurant with, and people not looking at us crazy because we're not on the same, we don't even look the same in energy, and who's on the same type of energy I'm on. I'm not gonna lie to you, my mama is a straight shooter like me. Even worse. My mama is even worse. She's worse than me. She's a straight shooter. But her answer was, well, you say what you want. You just sat here and you told me what you wanted. But you keep allowing the opposite to choose you. You keep allowing them to choose you, knowing that y'all are not on the same page. You know what you want as a person. You know your standards. You know what you're striving for. You just sat here and told me what you wanted, and you're still accepting the opposite of. And I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm not choosing them. Like, this is my mind thinking, I'm not choosing them, they're choosing me. She's like, you're allowing them to choose you because you have an option to say yes or no in this relationship, and you're choosing to settle. You're choosing to settle. I ain't gonna lie, that shit pissed me off when she said it. It made me mad. I ain't want to talk to her no more. I really didn't. But when I went in my room and I thought about it and I evaluated it a little bit more, yes, I was allowing it to choose me. And guess what? Right after that conversation, it might have took a couple of days, I broke up with him. About 2 months later, I found, I wouldn't say found, I ran into, because we ended up working at the same place, my now husband. I tell that story every time. Every time a woman got some bullshit to tell me, or want to sit here and dance around all of this, sometimes like in my case, we're allowing things. We do have, even when we don't choose, we're choosing. Even when we sit and we take somebody at their word, or you should never take. I teach my daughter that now. I don't care who it is. You don't ever just take somebody at their word. What? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? My mama has been a phlebotomist since we were kids. Like since we were like 6, 7, something like that or whatever. So I've always been educated on STDs. I told the story about how she put the condoms when I was in middle school in the laundry room, and I took a handful of, and I passed them out at the school because and the principal called her. But you can't get mad at me. I'm trying to help so this activism thing has always been in me, but I was raised on tough love, and I realized that some people come from different backgrounds. I want to be careful about how I say that because something else is about to come out, but people come from different backgrounds of being raised, and not everybody had that. I had a balance of nurturing love, but I had across the board tough love. I had love that held me accountable. I had love that loved me, that nurtured who I was in spirit. And in some cases, I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't perfect, but I also had that love that was like, nah, you're not gonna do this. Nah, you messing up. Nah, you doing it. And some people don't have that. So when you hear it, it's like, oh, how can I be a problem? You're not looking at the other person. You're not looking at this. You're not looking at. We are looking at that, baby, but we're also looking at what you're doing. And we're telling you that you're also catering to the chaos. And in some cases, because you've now said something or delivered it in the way that you're delivering it, you've added on and made the chaos even more inflamed than what it was because of your execution and how you did this. And baby, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna let up on that. I don't care who get mad on TikTok. Fuck these people. I delete this out my damn self before I be anything less than true to myself. Because at the same time, I've never met a kid that actually listened to me that didn't soar. I've never met an adult who listened to me and didn't get ahead. Everybody got it. My inbox is full of testimonies right now, of people who was like, damn, I might not have liked what you said, but I went and meditated on that shit. I was mad at you for a minute, but you was right. I adjust myself, and I'm doing better now. Baby, I'd rather somebody in my corner that be like, girl, you are tripping at any time. Even my followers, if you see me doing something off the wall, even in the comments, be like, hey, I screenshot this shit. I'm sending it to you in your DM. I'm holding you accountable. Because the accountability when it's face to face, when you in my DM, I can't run from that shit. I can flick through the videos. But when you hit me up in my DM, hey, I seen this, you tripping. That was inappropriate what you said. Even my own daughter will say, Mommy, I love you, but that was inappropriate. I've had moments where my daughter said that to me. Mommy, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't mean to be rude, but that was wrong. Mommy, I don't think you should have said that. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I don't think you should have said that. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I thought my parents were so mean. And I'm not gonna lie, we all operate out of from what we know. And I can honestly say my parents tried to do better than their childhood and upbringing, but we still only know based upon what we've been exposed to and based upon what we learn and how we grow and stuff like that. And some people don't want the truth. They don't want accountability. But they don't realize how good it feels after going through that accountability and after making the adjustments. How good it feels to sleep with a better conscience and a peaceful mind. Because that shit is priceless. Not too many people have it. They have all the things in the world. They have the big houses, the nice cars. They have all the children and all these things that they thought that was going to make them happy. And the one thing that they don't have, that they're striving for, peace. They don't have it. Don't have it. couldn't process the peace if you gave it to them. Because they don't have no room for it. They don't have anybody holding them accountable. And that goes for both men and women. I serve evenly on my platform. Because just like men got, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna deny that men got some shit with them. But women got some shit with them too. I have been under attack when it comes to women. I have been wrongfully led when it comes to women. I have been held back when it comes to women. But will I hold it against everybody? No, I'm not. I don't need to make a video about everybody that affected me in life. I made the adjustment. Now, some people are not allowed to come back in my life. No, absolutely not. Why? You show me who you are. No, thank you. Set the boundaries. When you learn that you have power, and you have the power regardless, even in a marriage, you still have the power of no and your boundaries, and I'm not doing that. That doesn't align with me. That doesn't align with what I want. That doesn't align with who I am. Man or woman, no. Me and my husband tell each other no on things all the time. On certain things that we're willing to do, and here's what we're not going to do. Absolutely not. Because that doesn't align with my values. That doesn't align with who I am as a person. No. And we I don't know. It's just, you can get so caught up in social media is these platforms where our mentalities can live, and where our mentalities can, it's like a playground for our mentalities. Even when people say, oh, it's just a post, it doesn't mean anything, we're getting snippets and we're getting a peek into what is in people's minds, how they process things, how people think, which leads to how all of these things work and why things are happening how they happen. That's why a lot of the time I'm sitting back and I'm watching. Even my input, I'm careful, but I'll make an input that causes people to react so that I can see how you think, how you operate. Why is this happening like this? And I feel like we need more when it comes to girls and women. Maybe we need to start more social media groups or something. But, well, it's kind of hard because even when you look at Facebook groups, they're so catty. We need more older women talking to these younger women and guiding them. I avoid a lot of situations. And I am a girl from the South, from Louisiana. When I went, let me just picture this. My mom sent me off to college, my first year of school, college. I've been sheltered. I didn't go to prom. She didn't allow me to go to dances. She didn't allow me to sleep over at nobody's house. Now imagine this, a very naive, I was very wise, but in street smart, I had a lot to learn. And my father knew that. Because my mom had sheltered me from all of these things and kept me from certain people and tried to protect me to the best of her ability. Well, protect me to the best of her ability because she knew what was out there, but at the same time, not exposing me to the things that I needed to be aware of. You take a girl like that by herself and black and dump her in the middle of Ohio, because I went to school, it's a school called it's in Tiffin, Ohio, where my family who is in Ohio is an hour and 30 minutes away from me. I don't know anybody at this school or around. I could have been taken advantage of easily. There were situations where I saw that if that situation had went wrong because of what I chose, because of what I chose, that situation could have turned out like the situations of the people who were telling me their stories. You know? And we need more, but I had my grandmother talking to me in wisdom. I had my mom talking to me in wisdom. And aside from them, I had older ladies who recognize this and who realize this, even in the workforce when I was younger, that were giving me these hard talks, that were not catering to my feelings and my emotions. They're like, you'll have time to play in that later. I got to tell you reality. I'm going to keep it real with you. This is how it is. Because guess what? I can sit here and cater to and coddle your feelings, but the world don't give a fuck about you. At all. Not at all. That's the type of coaching I got. Those are the kind of talks that I got. You better learn to toughen up, because the world and the people out here, they don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your emotions. They only care about themselves. And one day you'll wake up to it if you don't wake up after I've told you this, because you're going to experience it. But at least I told you so that you can avoid putting yourself in these situations. For example, my mom told me, if there's a party going on, and you know 1 or 2 people at that party do not like you, you go to that party, something happened to you. That was a situation that you could have avoided. Yeah, you could blame them for jumping on you or sabotaging you in some kind of way or whatever. But ultimately, you were aware that these people at this party did not care for you. And you put yourself in a situation, in a vulnerable situation. You put yourself in a situation that could have possibly been avoided had you either stayed at home or went somewhere else. But you just have to be there. Why? What is that moment producing for you? Do you get some kind of benefit from it outside at the end of the night? Because I was that child that I was very social. I had to be where everybody was, and I was very extroverted, and I was that person. Me and one of my best friends. But even in me being in another state up north alone, I even with my best friend, there were times where people tried to take her, like, oh, you should come back to the dorm room with me. No, me and you walk into your dorm. We're gonna walk and make sure that each other gets to and people are not. And there were times when she was mad at me. I was the mean friend. I'm still the mean friend. But I'm like, no, I'm not co-signing that. Because at the end of the day, if I can say something to the point where I don't have to hear that my friend was discovered in a ditch, or my friend was SA'd, or my friend was whatever, I'll take being a bitch and being mean and being the mean friend over you being harmed. I'm cool with that. And if you never want to be friends with me again, I'm good with that too. But at least I know that I spoke up and I said something and I told you something real and not catered to your emotions and what you're feeling in this emotion. That we need more people, and even men, because there were men that were very hard on me. That were like, nah, we're not doing this. You're not doing that. That's not a wise decision. That's not wise. No. And people need to start hearing that more. No. Because you can tell that there are some people that don't hear no. And I struggle with that even with my kids, and not wanting to tell them no. But I have to. And I have to stand firm on that no. And not give them this deluded fantasy that you can just have. Because I feel like with millennials, we were told we can have whatever we want. The world is ours. But there are limits, there are boundaries. We have to exist with other people. Yes. Which is exactly what happened to Malcolm X. Because he had a bad feeling that day. Martin Luther King had a bad feeling that day. Tupac had a bad feeling that day. Biggie Smalls had a bad feeling that day. You want me to keep going? Edgar Mayer's hold on, let me see, because I don't want to. He had a bad feeling that day. You want me to keep going? JFK had a bad feeling that day. Want me to keep going down the list? Do I need to keep going? Abraham Lincoln had a bad feeling that day. Everybody, I'm watching everybody's documentaries. I'm watching everybody pulling up real documents and stuff. Which leads us back to this. Trust your gut instinct. I don't give a fuck how good somebody looks. I don't care what words that's coming out of their mouth, baby. You can put makeup on shit and it's still shit, right? Don't make it smell no better. Don't make it consumable. I'm just saying. You have got to trust. We have got to develop that relationship with ourselves, in trusting ourselves, and in even and also to allowing people to tell us no and set their boundaries. If I invite somebody over to my house and they tell me, no, we're not gonna come over today, you don't owe me any other explanation outside of your no. You don't owe it to me to tell me why or what your schedule is or why you're not coming over. When you say no, your no is no. I'm not gonna take it personal, because guess what? I can go take a nap. We need to learn. When people tell us no, okay, I'll go do this instead. Or, okay, you said no, I'll go date him instead. Or I'll go do this instead. You know what I mean? We have limits, but at the same time, the world is limitless. We limit ourselves. Even in our boundaries, even after the boundaries, we have options elsewhere. And we have to stop trying to force other people to be what we want them to be, and our lives to look like what we want it to look like. We've got to start becoming comfortable in just experiencing the experience and trusting our instincts when our instincts alert us. Point blank. You can't nobody tell me that before something bad happened or you had no idea. Something in your heart told you I ain't never been a person that didn't confide to me in private after telling other people some bullshit, that came to me in private and said, well, I felt something was off. But you just told them fucking people that you ain't know what was going on. I said, I knew. I ain't dumb. I said, my name ain't KayWithTheVibes for no reason. I study this. I read books. My favorite type of books is self-help books. I love reading about people. My major was communications. My minor was psychology. I didn't get to finish those, but I did finish in business, which also taught me interpersonal skills. I took management skills. I took customer service and personal skills. I had to learn all that. So, baby, when you try to run game on somebody, run it with them over there. Because as far as I go, I'm going to stop arguing with you until you come and tell me that you was bullshitting. And then I'm going to tell you I already knew anyway. You know? You just have to trust yourself. And as women, we are so... And even when I talk to men in private, I said, we as women, we're powerful. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't. It's just that a lot of women don't recognize it because of the bullshit that we've been taught. We've taught that people are supposed to choose us. We are already chosen. We are already chosen. We give birth. You can't tell me after you done gave birth to some babies, or even when it comes to IVF treatments and still giving birth, and even if you somebody who can't give birth, just being able to raise up somebody else's child and still live a life and build a life, not only for these lives, talking about like if you're adopting and stuff, or if you choose to raise you have to raise siblings and cover, because I'm trying to cater to every aspect of possible like what motherhood looks like, because it doesn't look like just one thing. But to be able to care for life, and even outside of that, if you decide not to have children and you're just being of service for other people, we do that every day on top of having our careers, on top of we're the therapists at work for everybody. We are the homemakers at home and at work and everywhere else. Like, we are just always, you can't tell me. We are powerful. It's just that some women haven't been told that. Some women haven't tapped into their power. Some women, it's like somebody told me at one point, you don't even realize your worth and you keep settling for less because you don't even know who you are. You don't even know, and this was before I had kids, before I had marriage, any of that. And one day you'll come into it and you're gonna be like, dang, I really settled. I really sell myself short. Has been women and men telling me this, you know? And now I'm telling it to the world. There's some y'all that just have not tapped into that worth, into that space of where, because I could tell you you worthy all day. I could tell you you powerful all day. But until you believe it, until you feel it, until you can look in the mirror and be like, damn, I am the shit. What you are. You were chosen. You're here. Yes. You know how people say, oh, I'm the chosen one? We are all the chosen ones because we're here. And we have the ability to make an impact in some way, whether big or small, in somebody's life. Regardless. See, y'all, I didn't even come on here to preach. Y'all always get me going. That's why before I go live, I make sure that my phone, like now, is on the charger because it always hang up on y'all, and I know y'all be getting frustrated. And then, I make sure that my energy is right for live because I'm gonna keep going, and I don't know how long. I'll probably been over the 30 minutes that I said that I was gonna be on here. But yeah, we are, and men too are powerful. I know that men go through some shit. Let's be real. Like I tell my husband, I said, I know that on top of being the provider, and they already, you get to, as a guy, just analyzing through the eyes of a female, your whole childhood, you get to run wild. You get to, some of them are raised up with their moms where they have to help their moms and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be one dimensional about this. But for the most part, you don't have as much like hardcore responsibilities like women do as far as taking care of your siblings, where some do. It's not one dimensional. But you get this kind of carefree carelessness in a sense, unless you are put in a situation where it's not like that. Then at 18 years old, teen stages, you have these girls that's interested in you. And you're interested in them. And here comes the aspect of relationships. 9 times out of 10, you're not even getting guided in these relationships until you fuck up and do something wrong. This is just me analyzing what I've seen. Until you cheated, until you messed with another girl and all that, then your mama is reprimanding you on top of the girl and the girl's mama and stuff like that. But now nobody is really guiding you through how to be a gentleman, how to treat a woman right, you're learning kind of through experience. She's learning through experience how to be, but all before you are both taught how to care for yourself. How to be there for yourself, how to love yourself, how to treat yourself right. Because what we fail to realize, and even with my daughter, we're having that conversation now, and relationships is just not happening. Because I want to teach you how to care for yourself. You can't care for nobody else until you've learned to care for and love yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to be making a whole bunch of dumb errors. Because there are girls who do that as well. A lot of errors, and you're both just gonna hurt each other until you learn. And by the time you get to a good place, I guess, it's gonna be so much baggage and so much trauma and so much damage because parents are working. They're not really worried about what you and your girlfriend got going on. Then you get older, looking at the aspects of marriage. I feel like this should be a whole like college course. Because I don't think I can get all the thoughts out and pack it with bullet points. So it's just coming out. Looking at the aspects of marriage and all that, is you kind of just thrown into that. Nobody's really teaching us how to have, and then even when we're talking about the sex ed classes, they're not really teaching you the things that need to be taught. My mom was a phlebotomist, so the things that she taught me was not taught in the classroom. It was not. And then you're not employing these teachers who have actually been in the medical field, which it would be wise to when we're talking about that kind of thing. Why not bring in phlebotomists? Why not bring in real psychiatrists to these places? Even if they come for a day and you bring the children in so that they can ask questions, so that they can learn these type of things. Bring in therapists. Bring in people that children can actually learn this from, because some teachers are not trained in these type of things. We want them to teach them, even like the critical race theory thing. How are you going to teach somebody something you can't relate to or that you can't understand? You can get all the training in the world, but there are some people out here with the real life experience that can communicate based upon experience. And honestly, I'd rather hear from somebody through the lens of whom it has affected. So why not bring in these people with this type of training, teach these kids before they have to link themselves with somebody else? You know what I mean? Before you even link yourself with somebody else, you need to take care of yourself first. You need to figure out what your issues are, and you need to dig through that. You need to build yourself up to where you want to be, and then y'all can talk about boyfriend, girlfriend type of thing. Once you got yourself in a good place mentally, economically, because once you start having children, I'm telling my children the hardcore truth. I'm not sugarcoating this shit, like for real, because I'm based upon the start that my husband and I had. There are definitely some things that we wish that we would have done in a better way. There's some things that our parents was communicating that we thought were mean, but now that we're in our 30s and we're older, and we're not looking from that 20-year-old perspective of live fast, live fast, gotta have it now, gotta, all in our emotions, all in our feelings. And we've had to actually go through things in life. We've come to understand of the perspective that they were coming from, and learn that maybe they may not have been able to communicate it in a way that we wanted it to sound, but they were spot on about a lot of things that they were saying. They just probably didn't know how to communicate it like I'm talking to y'all now, or how somebody else would say it, And we just gotta learn. We gotta learn how to. We really. I feel like even all this drama that's going on the internet takes away, and even with Instagram when it comes to the celebrity aspect, because they cycle a lot of celebrity things, and it takes away from some of the small businesses that need to be seen, the therapists that need to be seen, whose content needs to be seen, and all of this drama. It takes away from the moments that could be real teachable moments where people can be educated. And now we're talking about all these cycles of drama, and it seems like it's one thing one week, another thing the next week, and it's taken away from the value that was, how do I want to say it, the value that was originally, I guess, on this app and other apps. And the people who need to be seen, that are actually educating, that are actually informing people, that are actually connecting and building community, it takes away, like, it's crazy. But it starts with self-care, self-love, and a good mental mindset and a mental state, and accountability. And knowing that we're not exempt from accountability. I'm not, just because I got 80,000 followers, okay. I still am who the fuck I am in real life. My family don't give a fuck about no 80,000. What? They don't care about that. They know, the people in my hometown do not care about that. I'm still who I am in my regular life. My children see me as mommy. My husband sees me as his wife. All of this social media thing, and that's all I want. I want to make impact. I don't care for the attention. But also too, in school, this same person that I am with y'all online is the same person that I was in school. I was cool with everybody, but I didn't hang with everybody. I was popular, but I was unpopular. Like, everybody knew me. Everybody was cool with me. But I didn't sit at everybody's table. I didn't go to everybody's house. You didn't see me hanging around with everybody. You'll see me talk to them for a brief minute, or if they need, somebody to talk to and all that or whatever. Same thing I do now. Everybody knew me, but they didn't really know me. And that's how I keep it on social media, because the things that we put out, you better believe those same people that drag the person that you want, the same people who drag the person that you won't drag, won't hesitate to fucking drag you. We see it all the time. Even leaders can be crucified. Even the most, like I said the other day, what goes up can come down. You throw a rock up, it got to come back down to the ground, right? Anybody, nobody is exempt from coming back down. Nobody. I don't care how big your following is, how small your following is. Everybody. And we just got to come to that. I think when we know more of ourselves and we get more exposure to other people and to things around, and we get outside of the comfort zone of our own experiences, and we start getting to know the experiences of people outside of ourselves. That is one reason I didn't understand it. My mom told me her whole reason for sending me off to college, because I'm from Louisiana. If you've been here, you know that we are on something totally different. Like, we Creole Cajun culture. So, of course, it's white people, black people, but we are mixed breeds. We are African, indigenous, Native American, Spaniard people. Like, it's a mixture, a melting pot here. I said I was going to do some videos and let me know if y'all want it, because I started looking up like one of our historic landmarks, because this was very much heavily an indigenous land. Louisiana was, until the French and the Spaniards came over here and started evading and started doing what they do. So if y'all want more like history on the Louisiana Purchase and the history and the background on that, on top of some of our historical content, I'll start creating that. I'll make a file and I'll start putting creating content and start putting like Louisiana historical things too, because we have a lot of, and you know, this is home to a lot of people and a lot of things that have happened here. So and Mardi Gras just passed, so I kind of missed the opportunity for that, but I can still make the content or whatever. But my mom wanted me to be culturally aware. She was like, I want you to be able to, you need to know people outside. And I think this is so important. That's why I say, even with the whole critical race theory thing, let's take the buzzwords out of it. Let's take the shit that triggers people out of it and call it what it is. History. American history. That's what it is. There's no need for the separation of shit. Like, why does it have to be, like, I understand, you know, that the African American, we've had to, you know, do that or whatever, but we've had to classify, and everybody has to classify according to their own group. Hey, how you doing? You coming into some a good little chat. But let's call it what it is, American history, and let's tell the truth. That was a wake-up call from me being just Southern my whole life, Louisiana history, going up there up north. I had a culture shock. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a lot to deal with because they weren't familiar with why I say things like I say. Like, we call, hold on, let me get it. Don't like this right here, we call this a cold drink. They call it soda, they call it pop. We say, go get me that cold drink. That's what, and it drove them crazy. A lot of things, like my accent, how I talked, I got picked apart. Do you hear me? And I'm not talking about this was just white people. This was also black people. That was like, why you talk like you talk? Do you have to talk with that accent? Why do you call it a cold drink? Like, it was just picking me apart. And also too, oh my God, so many questions I got about Katrina and New Orleans, and telling them, having to explain that Baton Rouge and New Orleans is not the same place, And oh my God, the conversations about racism that they constantly wanted to have, like I didn't have to deal with that in my comfort zone. At home, I didn't have to deal with that, you know? But her objective was to push me out there, outside of my comfort zone, to see how other people think and see that the world doesn't revolve around me and it is important. You know, children are curious, adults are curious. And there's nothing wrong with asking questions if asked in a respectful manner and with some decorum. You know, the only way that we can learn how to treat other people and what's acceptable and what's not is for us to not have the media tell us who each other is, and for us to actually get out there with other people and have these conversations, these one-on-one, and get out of these groups and this groupthink mindset and our comfort zone and actually have these conversations. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, in conversation, if it's me and another lady, I'd be like, girl. But if a woman told me, I'm not comfortable with you calling me girl, I don't like being called girl, she set that boundary with me, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to disassociate myself with her because she set a boundary. Okay, I just know not to call you girl because that's not what you like. Okay, move on from it. Let's have a conversation. And I'll just make sure in that conversation, I'm not calling you girl. You know? And I've had people that felt like that. They don't like being called girl. They are so, and you have every right to set that boundary. No means no, no matter who you're saying it to. You know? And anybody who respects you, regardless of how they feel about it, because I feel like that's petty. I do. I feel like it's petty in my heart. But who am I to minimize something that she may have a reason behind it? Maybe there was some things that were said to her as a kid that triggers her in a way, you know, or maybe people tried to demean her, belittle her, made her feel and use that word or whatever. But she don't owe it to me to explain. No means no, and that's it. She don't have to go beyond her no. It's not for me to understand, you know. And if I care to have a relationship and to move forward with this person, I'm gonna respect their boundaries. If I don't, then guess what? I gotta get away from them. If she tell me, okay, well, since you can't respect my boundaries, I can't be around you. People could not understand for the life of them why, like, and maybe other people see this too, like in their families, their friendships and stuff. There are a lot of people who expect you to accept disrespect. There are a lot of people who don't know how to set boundaries, or who haven't been allowed to set boundaries in their life, so they can't accept other people's boundaries because, hell, I haven't been able to set boundaries. Nobody respected me, so why should I have to respect other people? And they don't get that concept of relationship because their space, their energy, their form of relationship has been disrespected, you know? So, y'all, when I get on this live, I get going. But even in the midst of that, we still have to not take what we've experienced in our personal lives and dump that on other people. That is another thing that I've had to control. Like, I've always been that, you know, everybody gets a clean slate with me. I'm cautious of everybody. Hell, I'm cautious with everybody, even my own mama who gave birth to me. Shoot. I don't put nothing past nobody. I've seen too much happen. But at the same time, I'm not about to harass you and hold you accountable for things that people have done to me in my past. No, that accountability lies with them. I'm not about to sit here and make a I hate men page or I hate women page or whatever because of the things that have been done to me. It's immature to hold people accountable for the things that you have to learn to heal from. It is. And when and it's equally as important when we see that immaturity within people, that we either set a boundary or we walk away. Those are the choices we have. Set a boundary. They don't abide by the boundary. Okay, walk away. When you set that boundary, and when you, that's why I always operate in authenticity, because, and I don't try to be nothing outside of who I am, because the girls who get it, and the girls who don't. And the ones who don't, and we're not each other's vibe, I'd rather know who you are up front than for you to finesse me for 5 months in personality and have me thinking that you're this wonderful, amazing person. I'm gonna show you my flaws up front. Like, I'm not gonna give you the whole storyline of my life, but I'm gonna just be naturally who I am to make you expose who you are. And once we see it, y'all, we have got to, at that point, determine what is right for us. And I know it can be hard to walk away from a good thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is hard to walk away when things feel good, and when people's words make you feel good, and when they smile and it seems like they're such a nice person. It can be hard to walk away. But you have to, when it is not aligning with who you are, your values, and what you're feeling in your intuition. It's coming back to trusting that intuition. You know? All right, y'all. I'm going to get a few minutes before I got to go sit in carpool. So, it was good talking to y'all. And y'all sticking around, and those that popped in and out. This is a good little chat. Let me say before I get off here, though, in case people don't know, I do upload these videos, my lives, on my YouTube, which you can click it in the bio. I gotta wait for this to for it to upload, and then I'm gonna upload it to my YouTube. So if you wanna see the replay and hear it back, for those who missed like the beginning and stuff like that or whatever, it will be on my YouTube. I'm trying to do a better job of that. I've been doing good so far. I gotta catch up. But it will be on the YouTube, link in the bio. See y'all later. Have a good day.